You can see we are going to be going to Ruins, Corrupted Keep, and if it does go to the final map, it will be on Awoken and scale banned straight away.
Yeah, I mean, this really favors dramiS. He's playing all the crouch sliding champions, starting up with the Slash, going versus Rohm's also favorite champion, Nyx. So that should be a very interesting first map. The second map, dramiS will be on the Strog versus Rohm's BJ. And then on Awoken, if we do get there, he's going to be a Visor from Rohm, and Anarchy from dramiS. The first two maps, though, allowing dramiS to get the crouch sliding champions for a crouch sliding expert, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, it certainly is indeed. And if you look at the first two maps as well, of course, you know, with the Slash versus Nyx pick, I feel like even for the likes of Rohm, if he give away like the first few frags, he's going to feel extremely uncomfortable now, but he's got to try and claw back with the agility and speed that Slash has on the table. But even going on to Corrupted Keep, BJ versus the likes of Strog, it's very meta, very, very standard. But the problem is, even though BJ's a very good pick on the likes of Corrupted Keep, it's the problem with the peeker, isn't it?
It's the peeker and the speed in both of the matchups. If Rohm starts to give away a few frags, as soon as he finds himself in the back foot, he will not be able to catch up to dramiS, pretty much.
Yeah, this is going to be an issue. So another indicator here to see what Rohm could do against dramiS. On the first map, going on to Ruins, with Rohm playing as the Nyx. And dramiS favouring the Slash. Of course, it would be rude for him not to be able to pick the Slash. He's always on the Slash, especially on this map in particular. Definitely one of his best maps as well. So Rohm, standing the ground around T, just diving back and forth to trying to get those drive-by rails.
Somehow forcing the Ghost Walk out of Rohm. So Rohm already very uncomfortable, and dramiS, I'm not sure if he even heard the Ghost Walk because he wasn't that close. If he did, he will definitely be trying to force out the issue and try to go for a killing blow sooner rather than later.
And he knows that Rohm's going to be favouring those hourglasses around the heavy jump pad and courtyard. And you see he's looking to try and progress there, but he's just a little bit worried about the whereabouts of where dramiS could be. 38 HP, he gets one gauntlet, is not going to get another, and sadly for him now it's going to be him down for the count. So already dramiS up 1-0 in this matchup.
And yeah, things are already not looking good for Rohm. He doesn't have the Ghost Walk. He's one frag behind and doesn't have control on the map. So dramiS can really establish dominance on this map really early on.
Yeah, he certainly can indeed, and is now dramiS going up to the courtyard to see if he can catch him off guard, but he will not as of yet. Both items going to be not up for quite a while. He does have info on Rohm, but luckily Rohm just stood still, stood his ground, making sure not to give any audio cues there. As dramiS,
that's how Rohm usually plays. He just plays very, very quiet, very patient. If the opponent doesn't chase him, he will actually just wait for like a lot of minutes. He doesn't mind waiting 8 minutes until he gets an opportunity. The problem is he is one behind now, so his playstyle does not favor him that well either.
No, it certainly doesn't, and dramiS is in prime position to get this mega. Hits him in the courtyard. He's of course going to go for it. Smells blood in the water as he's approaching that courtyard. Was trying to trap on in, but sadly for him, Rohm's already disappeared, but he's caught him, of course, with the agility of the Slash. He's gone back through, but as he did that, he went back through himself. It's literally dancing around TP backwards and forwards. There's something you don't normally see if it's like sudden death or anything like that, but in the end, Rohm does get taken down. Mega's up, or has been up for quite a while, but of course that was because of the fact that dramiS was prioritising that Mega. So both items not really segregated that much. A couple of minutes in, and the 2-0 lead for dramiS.
Good for Rohm. He managed to actually pick up the heavy based on his spawn. Does not quite have the Ghost Walk back up yet, but we will be focusing on trying to get the weapons. As of now, he only really has the railgun, and he's just trying to avoid dramiS, and dramiS just manages to find him, hit a shot, and now he might just chase him. There he is. He forces out the Ghost Walk once again. That's why playing Nyx versus Slash is really hard to do on this map. Slash has such a speed. It's very easy for Slash to force out the Ghost Walk.
And of course, dramiS had the timing of the heavy, so he was going to pull back anyway, and then Rohm probably realised that using that Ghost Walk and then waiting around for the heavy wasn't really going to do him any favours at all. 4-0 now in favour of dramiS. They're looking to see where he could be lurking. Pick up that knight in the courtyard, pick up the hourglasses as well, just keep him in arm's reach from Rohm. As the Ghost Walk is not ready for another 12 seconds, heavy has been picked up. Items are nicely segregated for dramiS to continue with his map control.
So we had to see like a good play come out from Rohm, mostly because dramiS hasn't given him the chance to even establish anything on the map. any sort of presence that Rohm ever has, dramiS just goes in and tries to bully him away. Even catching a couple of light armors is proving to be very hard for Rohm, as he is left on 5 HP. Does get the Mega though, so he will have timing on the Mega and possibly on the Heavy as well. Now he needs to get those lights. Just establish some sort of stack.
He certainly does, but dramiS is just constantly making him dodge and weave and trying to guess exactly what he could be up to. Decides to use the trail anyway.
Oh man,
and
he
finds him like
perfectly.
instantly. Yeah, he knew that that's the only other place he could have been.
Yeah, that's really smart by dramiS, because he knew that's the next item up. It's the top light besides the major item, so he knew exactly where Rohm wanted to go to. Just finds him perfectly. Really well played by dramiS, showing a lot more focus this time around.
Certainly is. He will take his aggression out on someone, doesn't he? 5-0 now, nearly at the halfway stage. The items aren't as segregated as before, so it may give Rohm a chance to try and catch one of his items if he can, but depending on circumstances, he was looking towards Mega, but so was dramiS at the same time, so not really a gentleman's agreement there in terms of the items, but will pick up the Mega in the end, and Heavy has been picked up by Rohm as he realises a bit out of his depth, started to drop down for it. Makes perfect sense.
Let's see if Rohm can actually get the stack that he has and turn it into an offensive play instead of just trying to survive. Because he will have to start being aggressive eventually. Well, that's the Ghost Walk used. Where is Rohm? I think now. Seems that he will be trying to get the Mega next. Rohm is quite an overstack for Light Champion now.
Yeah, both players picking up each other's items.
Oh, and Rohm gets caught off guard in here. How's he gonna get out of here? He doesn't even have a rocket jump. Doesn't even have a rocket to be able to rocket jump. And dramiS, is he just gonna leave him be? Because I think that's what Rohm is hoping for. He's just thinking, please go away.
Well, he's got Ghost Walk in a couple of seconds in his back pocket if he did need be, and I think dramiS may have thought he could have already used it. We don't know, but doesn't matter. Managed to survive, but he's only on 6 HP. dramiS is eager about to clean up. He Ghost Walks in the end, goes straight past him. Rohm's like, see you later. I'm not having any part of that at all, but dramiS is going to, of course, realise that now as Mega is up. He has given up for free, sadly. He can't fight with the amount of HP he was in at the moment.
He can still barely fight. I think he's just trying to survive for a little longer. Oh, he just picks and that's it. More damage. dramiS just constricting him out of any important areas.
And Rohm hasn't got any rockets either, so he's trying to avoid being in close quarters with dramiS at the moment. Still got 3.5 minutes left. Still time available, but against the slash, it's again going to be very difficult for him to try and bring this back.
We got the timing on the Mega there. He should have timing on the Heavy as well. Is he going to go for a Ghost Walk play? If he doesn't have exact timing on it, he's not going to do it. Okay, it seems that he's trying to get exact timing so that he does it later. That's the timing. He has perfect timing on both Mega and Heavy now. So it would be good for him not to actually waste the Ghost Walk so that he can try and steal them with an attack later on.
Yeah, he's trying to do a decent amount of damage with the super shot as well, going around the corner, but dramiS is more than ready for that.
Yeah,
so weak at this point. Goes walking out of there as well. dramiS should be able to catch it. Just realised where he was, but in the end, it's going to be Rohm who actually takes him down. Gets the first frag to his name. Couple of minutes left though, and dramiS is going straight in for the trade with the LG. That's going to be 6-1 in favour of dramiS.
Yeah, Rohm was not expecting that speed. Even had the tribal out, thinking that maybe dramiS will go for a couple of rail shots, but dramiS just pushing through with the LG, getting up close and personal, and taking his 6th frag.
Yeah, he certainly does indeed. Heavy's up in the next 7 seconds. dramiS in position nice and early for it, waiting for Rohm to see if he does approach him, which he does not. So leave him be. Again, a huge stack for dramiS to work with. Looking to see where Rohm could be, but Rohm's been a bit of a sneaky beaver at the moment, just trying to at least trap into a corner. And that's why the frags have been, a lot lower than we actually anticipated here. But it's more due to the fact that dramiS obviously keeping that item control. This is one of his best maps. He knows exactly how to play this out. He knows that he's trapped in courtyard. It's just a matter of time until he can try and take down Rohm. But Rohm did get 2 nice rails to keep him at bay with that chip damage.
Yeah, but most of Rohm's damage has come from like a defensive place, right? He's not trying to get frags, he's trying to survive, basically. And that's not too bad of a scoreline if it stays like this until the end. It's only a 5 frags difference, but that's because Rohm is a very defensive player. I would like to see him try to go for some aggressive moves to try and go get a few more frags for himself. But maybe we'll see that in the next map, as it doesn't seem like he will change his playstyle just yet. Still a minute to go though, I can be wrong. And does he... Okay, he doesn't know exactly where he is.
That is the vibe I'm getting though. It's like he's... Like Rohm's like not playing to win, but he's just trying to play to survive. Yeah. And if he does get any kind of advantage, he will try his best to make something of it. But he hasn't really had many advantages. Like dramiS has been all over the place, always had a huge stack. It's some clean rails back and forth, especially with the drive-bys he had with the height advantage earlier on. And even with some sneak attacks from Rohm, it's not really done really too many favours. But I like how dramiS does use that trail now and again to, of course, eat up those hourglasses so he doesn't get the ghost walk as often as he would like. His heavy is still up, so I was going to say he's going to delay the timing a bit, but it doesn't really matter. 20 seconds left to speak in the timing. It's going to be 6-1, potentially 7-1 if dramiS can find him, or if Rohm can do some chip, but does find him in the end. Just literally bane and weaving, wait for him to drop on down, does ghost walk in the end, but 5 seconds left, the job has already been done. That's going to be the first map in favour of dramiS, making it 7-1, only with like 1 or 2 seconds left to spare. And it will be 1-0 in the series for dramiS. Of course, again, this is going to be a best of 3, so we have to see if Rohm can make a comeback and make some kind of reverse sweep going, or if dramiS will have a clean sweep going into the next round. Yeah,
very good performance by dramiS. Didn't really do any mistakes. Only dropped 1 frag. And even though Rohm did give him a lot of space, dramiS managed to be pretty much everywhere. And with the movement advantage that he has, you know, it takes a really good player to be everywhere at once, even with the slash. And dramiS, his movement is just really, really good and nice to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was. Just denying not any of the items, but the lights enough times to not give Rohm any room to kind of get back into that matchup, or just keep him low as possible.
Yeah.
And we saw that time and time again. And yeah, it's just the scoreline didn't really reflect what could have happened. It could have been a lot more in comparison, but of course with the ghost walks which Rohm had, and just playing that sneaky beaver kind of role, just seeing if he can catch dramiS off guard sometimes. Even though dramiS fell for it, he somehow just managed to return the damage each and every single time.
Yeah, and sadly for Rohm, the second map will also have the same kind of movement advantage, as he has allowed dramiS to get both of the crouch sliding champions.
Yeah, of course, next map we will be going on Corrupted Keep. That will be the BJ versus the Strog. I do believe dramiS is on the Strog, isn't he? And Rohm is on the BJ. And it's like I said before, both these champions are very common meta picks. It's not, you know, most of the time we do see these, like, we don't see them against each other a lot, but we do see them like against other champions. But seeing both against each other, you have to favour the Strog on this one.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the movement advantage is huge in Quake champions, because it's a much faster type of Quake than previous iterations of the game. And being able to just find your opponent faster, it's just massive, right? Because it allows you to play aggressive. Because even if you die a couple of times, you can still chase your opponent. And if you're the one on the vanilla kind of movement champion, if you play aggressive early and you get behind, the job just becomes a chore, right? Because to catch up to your opponent with that kind of movement advantage becomes so much harder when you're on the back foot.
It certainly does. And what we've seen Rohm play a couple of times now. We saw him play on the main stage before, and we see him main stage again, obviously previously against Razy, now against dramiS. What do you feel like he needs to do differently against dramiS this time around?
I think he's playing well. He's just like he's punching way above his weight class right now, right? Because he's still a very inexperienced player. He's going up against 2 QPL level players, you know.
Oh no, yeah, imagine that. It's not exactly the easiest
He can do a lot
bracket.
of things better for now. He can do a lot of things better, but it's not something that he's gonna be able to completely change throughout the course of this particular tournament. But as soon as he gets home and watches the VOD, he's going to realize that his biggest mistakes were basically the positioning sometimes, because he needs to be trying to be a little bit more aggressive and timing a little bit more as well. Those are the biggest 2 things that I've seen. But he's here, he wants to improve, and he's getting the experience. I can only commend him for that.
I think some people kind of underestimate how important positioning is just in general. Like, you know, people underestimate it quite a lot. People look at his first, you know, just the items, the timings, the angles you should hold and where you should be when you've got the advantage. But he took some good positions defensively on a number of occasions, but nothing which kind of showed signs of, okay, he could get this frag, or, oh, okay, he's looking for that sneak attack in order to try and knuckle down with some damage against Drab. We didn't see any of that. So defensively, he works okay, but we need something to try and close out some of these frags, or this could be the last map for him in this tournament, as we are going to go into Corrupt to keep starting with dramiS' POV with the Strog, and of course the BJ with Rohm. Oh, it could be the other way around, actually. Okay, never mind.
That was aggressive start because he had the dual wield early on. However, not able to do anything with it, and dramiS is the one doing the initial damage with the picker. dramiS already trying to chase him a little bit. Let's see if he'll manage to do that. I think he knows exactly where Rohm is. And Rohm already caught off guard in, you know, kind of a bad position here. And so much damage from dramiS. He has that heavy on lock, as he was the one to pick it up earlier. He knew exactly when it was going to spawn and when to drop to it. So Rohm already on a bit of a disadvantage. Oh, and he's going to get caught off guard again and up a jump pad. dramiS, yeah, I mean, giving crouch sliding champions to dramiS just allows him to be everywhere at once. The pressure is always on as he finds him again off the spawn. Rohm trying to do his best to stay alive, but not going to be awarded with an escape route that time around.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I thought he was going to get sync-aided, but the broken wall managed to keep him in it, but did at least force dramiS to use the peek it, but he managed to get another one straight off the bat. Still a massive stack, as of course that last frag was probably the cleanest of frags you're going to see here. And it's just trying to keep him pinned down on that light near the heavy machine gun. Trying to pick up the rockets as well. Does manage to get it, but look at the damage given the heavy machine gun. 120 total. Looking to see if he goes towards that broken ledge for the hourglasses, but hasn't actually gone there. We'll have another peeker momentarily. Still with a huge stack, continuing the pressure, and now we got the Mega. But this is the trap we were talking about. That was a good way to try and claw his way back, but even though the damage has been done, he picked up the Mega straight afterwards, and now we're back to square one.
That was a good trap. The only problem with that was, oh, I can give up. Wait, not frag. The only problem was that wasn't a trap to get a kill, right? Because the stack difference was too large for that to result in a kill.
Yeah.
So at that trap, after the first two rockets, he should have just backed out and, you know, taken the win that he had, which was the net damage. So an escape route was needed there, because there was no way he was going to do 400 damage.
No.
He could do 200 and then back out, and that would be fine. He just needed to plan a few more traps like that, and he could get back into the game. But he overcommitted based on the two rockets that he did.
Yeah, if he was able to do enough to even the stacks, then that would have been perfect, because he would have a lot better chance to try and contest some of these items here. And speaking of items at the moment, still almost level, unlike the scoreline so far. dramiS with, again, a huge stack, and trying to continue with the aggression as well, as he does find him going towards the heavy. At least he managed to steal one to give us a little bit of breathing room. Done a lot of damage here, considering the stack dramiS had, but does manage to come out on top. Just uses that rocket in the nick of time, literally went all the way over it. And even if he got taken down, stealing the Mega would have been
just about enough.
Given a bit of leeway, yeah, exactly.
So dramiS is just, you know, maintaining that dominance. 9 frags in 3 minutes, and the game is not going any better for Rohm than the previous map went.
No, it certainly isn't. He still has another peeker to use. He's going to try and trap him as he heads towards the rocket. It's been a little bit more predictable now. Maybe a little bit of frustration coming up from Rohm here, because he has been a lot more aggressive than what we're normally used to seeing. He's just trying to do a bit more with the peeker, just due to the fact that dramiS is only on 34 HP. Does manage to claw his way towards the Mega and pick up the light, so it spells a world of trouble here for Rohm.
Yeah, this is not great, because, you know, he wasted a lot of time, so both major items were going to come up eventually, but he just stood there, you know, when both major items were coming up, he should have gone back to the heavy so that he could be the one getting it, but staying in the same place, hoping he could get a frag by a rocket spam, meant that if he didn't, he would give dramiS full control. And that's what happened, and because of that he lost out another frag, and now he might just give out yet another one. 11-0 with at 4 minutes in.
Yeah, incredible display of skill here from dramiS. Is Rohm now just trying to think of a way back in this matchup, but from what we've seen so far, again, he's just looking to try and survive rather than trying to win this matchup. He's done everything he could. You know, he's left traps, he's trying to play defensively, he's trying to wait for dramiS to approach him, but everything he's done is just not been working out for him so far. Good amount of damage with heavy machine gun. Rohm was very weak once more. Waiting to eat up this next light as literally Rohm went up towards the top of the red room. It eats an 80 there from that last rocket. Does a little bit more damage onto dramiS, but the thing is, Rohm is just way too weak to continue with that engagement.
Yeah, I think the skill difference right now is just a bit too large for Rohm to be able to do much. Every time he tries to go for something, dramiS is there with a really good position, good weapon selection, and displaying really good aim as well. So Rohm is trying his best, but dramiS just seems to be too strong currently.
Oh, what a direct
wow,
as
that
well.
was a predictive direct as well. That's
It certainly was. We're going to continue on forward from dramiS's perspective. Still 13-0. No signs yet for Rohm to claw back in any way, shape or form, as we're only just over the halfway stage. 13-0 now for dramiS. And it's like you said before, you know, we spoke about it right at the very beginning. For a lot of these players, you know, especially at KeenCon or even the Spanish community overall, a lot of them are basically either new, amateur, or just veterans. You know, some of them have been over for 20 years, or some of them are looking for, you know, keen experience here against some of these top players in order to pursue and be able to improve themselves.
Or just to test, yeah, basically to test themselves and see what their current skill level is. Because when you play versus these, oh wow, so much damage again from dramiS. He's just everywhere. And yeah, I want to see how far dramiS can go in this tournament, because he's starting to, you know, hit a lot more than he previously was.
This is what I mean. He was so impressive in the Pro League. I mentioned before that he defeated Rafa, Wenger, Razy like in the Pro League, and he's definitely a diamond in the rough, but at some stage, at some point, dramiS is going to find that level of consistency when he breaks the barrier, and then that's where we're going to see dramiS perform really well, rather than, like, you know, the random high to medium places which we're normally used to.
I think probably changing his sensitivity would be the first thing to do. Oh, Rohm does eventually get a frag. Can he actually turn it into something more? He has the Mega coming up. He does get it, but dramiS, how does dramiS do so much damage? That's the power of nail gun on LAN. And Rohm suffering from that.
Nail on LAN, yeah, you can see it there. Rohm did a good job defending himself as he was trying to head towards the Mega, but Rohm adds another frag to his name.
Let's see if Rohm can get a few more.
He definitely can, especially with the stack he has at the moment.
Seems to be playing, you know, a bit faster than normal now, and displaying a lot of aim as well. Rohm, there's the third frag, right before the Mega as well. Really well done. So this is like peak Rohm right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is what he would like to always be trying to do. So it's good that he's able to get these moments as well.
He just looks so much more comfortable. Like, mate, it's just that first frag he required in order to give himself a bit of oomph, you know, a bit of leeway here. And even though, like, he's probably made the assumption that he's lost his matchup already, he's just trying to keep the match as competitive as possible. But saying that, though, dramiS has managed to claw back now 15-3. He's been taken. Heavy will be up in 15 seconds as Rohm's been stopped in his tracks by dramiS. And yeah, Heavy will be coming up shortly.
I still want to see a few more frags from Rohm, hoping he can do it now. There's a small stack advantage going in his favor. Oh, but dramiS. Oh, no, the predictive rockets by dramiS have been, you know, absolutely amazing. Usually his best weapon is rail, but his rockets all tournament long have been really, really good.
Some good nail coming across from LG to top mid. There's a sprinkle of damage there. The heavy machine gun, still though. Minute 30 left. Rohm has got himself on the board, but just sadly a little bit too late. His dramiS looking to continue drilling him with the LG, as it's still top of the TP. Because it gives him with the Pika just to keep himself safe and not lose any more stack.
This kind of, you know, long-range machine gun fight is what Rohm should have been going for, like all game long. Because I think in the tracking department, he definitely can outclass dramiS due to dramiS' ridiculous sensitivity settings. Because he has like the highest sensitivity out of everyone in the pro circuit, and then he has acceleration on top of that.
For some reason that doesn't surprise me. He seems to be that kind of person.
Yeah, just go fast.
In the end, they're still looking for his 20th frag, 40 seconds left.
Oh.
And I think that's definitely going to help. And he's just standing, waiting in position. And dramiS is like, no, do you know what? Yeah, let's let's just not muck around there. Let's just finish things up. 30 seconds left and 20-3, soon to make it 21 with this last rocket. Switches to shotgun anyway to play it safe, and in towards the heavy. And the strength for Rohm, though, like, you know, if we saw a little bit more out of him from the beginning, like the way he was playing after he got that first frag, he just turned into a completely different person. He looked like he wanted to win and come back.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that as time passes and the experience that he gets from this LAN, that he can turn into that player. But right now, he does not possess the necessary consistency to, you know, do that more often.
And so that's not going to be the case, as dramiS does take that series quite cleanly, 2-0, as Rohm sadly will be out of the tournament. But hopefully he gains some valuable experience. You can't really complain, really. You lost out to Razy in the winner's side, and you lost out to dramiS in the loser's side. It's not the easiest of brackets, so to speak.
No, it was two very rough matchups, and Rohm, I mean, if he got there, it's because he beat everyone else before him. So it was still a really good performance by him, and we're hoping to see more of him in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be interested to see how he performs it in the future. I'm sure we'll be looking back through these VODs to see exactly what the difference is. Sometimes you get some people where when the skill level is that large, it's very hard to really say what gone wrong and what couldn't, because you've got a shopping list of mistakes.
Everything, right?
Exactly, yeah.
The higher the skill difference is, the more mistakes there are going to be between one player and the other. And, you know, the better player just usually starts piling up on each small mistake, and it's, as you said, it becomes really, really hard to tell. But I think Rohm defensively was really, really good, but offensively he still has a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, due to the item control that dramiS had, you can see why he couldn't really pursue or contest many of the items, just putting so much pressure across the board, across the map, and doing everything he could to make Rohm's life a misery here during that game. But yeah, it's like I said before, when there's such a huge skill gap, you know, normally if they're quite close in stature to the skill, normally you can, you know, nitpick on a few things here and there, a few minor mistakes which can be rectified after a week or two, a few things here and there. But because it's everything collectively, it means that he's got a huge amount of learning. In terms of learning curve, he's got a huge amount to work on. And sometimes it's a good feeling knowing that he's got this and that to work on, and he's got numerous ways to try and improve himself, because he definitely can, because it's like I said before, defensively he's shown some good promise, but offensively he needs to work on how to try and counter-attack a lot of the things which some of his top players do.
Yeah, and on top of that, he had like a really big movement disadvantage, because dramiS was just zooming all over the place, and anytime dramiS would die, he would just get back in his face before Rohm was even able to, you know, stack back up from that fight. So he was just everywhere, very hard to come back from that. Like the movement advantage was the other way around, we would probably see a much more even game. But like this, he just had everything going wrong for him, basically.
When he gets a slash on ruins, it's tough in itself. When he gets a strong and crop to keep, yeah, it just makes matters worse. It makes you realise how this, you can basically feel how the series is already going to go. But PJ is not a bad pick, honestly. It really isn't. Like, you know, you can definitely like bait out the dual ward and just try and like fake him out to go away, or you can also use that to your advantage depending on which weapon you use to try and win out some of the engagement, some of the duels you have with the items. But yeah, it just seems to be tough from the get-go. Yeah,
definitely. And the first map was definitely the hardest out of the two, and the second map, if it had like a rail, or if he had used like tribal more, he could definitely have found ways to get back into the game. But even in the close range, where dramiS usually isn't that pro-efficient, he was hitting all of the rockets, all of the prediction rockets. Even when he couldn't see Rohm, all of them were hitting. So dramiS just feeling really, really well in that game.
Even when he played earlier on against Zeneku, he looked very strong anyway, considering the circumstances. It's just, even in that Ruins game, it definitely could have gone either way. We all assumed it could have been dramiS for the 5 minutes of that last match when we played against Zeneku. It was just absolutely amazing in itself. But speaking of the Devil, though, we do have dramiS for an interview to see how he felt with that match out.
Hello, dramiS. Congratulations on winning the last game, round 5 of lowers. Now you're going through to the semifinals of lower bracket. So how did you feel playing against Rohm, and how went? Just let us know.
So I was pretty comfortable with the picks that he gave me. I'm obviously a good crouch slider, so once he gave me those picks on the maps that we had, I think it was pretty fair to say that it was going to be hard to win, because I just love the crouch slide, so it's going to be hard to fight that. But I was pretty comfortable up there. I was hitting my shots. Everything felt pretty good, so I was just pushing.
Great. Now you have a chance to go through to reach the lower bracket final and eventually maybe going to the grand final. So what are your expectations in this way through? There's too many people, really good ones in between. So what do you hope to achieve?
So yeah, I hope to make the run back to grand finals. I'm pretty comfortable in the losers bracket, so I have no problem with that. I'm not sure who else is going to be down there because I haven't seen the other matches. But yeah, I think I can definitely make it back up to the finals if I keep playing like that.
Great, thank you very much, and again, congratulations on winning the last game. So that was dramiS. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you, dramiS, for the interview as well. And what I love about, I think 4 to 6 of the pro players so far, it's like, yeah, hopefully we'll get to the grand final. Every single one of them just think they're going to get to the grand final no matter what.
And that's good, because usually it's like, oh, we're trying to go as far as we can until Rafa or Razy knocks us out. But this time they're saying they want to reach the grand final, so I love that.